pulls from, your author, your post width, and a couple of other options. Now, you will see I have my set to go back to July 1st, 2012. This is something that you may want to change. Be sure that you put something in here. My blog is only a few months old, so this is as far back as I'm going to go. That's as far back as I want it to pull from, because that's actually just before I started my blog, but I don't want to miss anything for this particular roundup. If you don't enter anything here, it will pull from the birth of your blog to the current date, every single post, so be aware of that. Your next option is a date option. If you want the date added to the title of your posts, click yes. If you don't, click no. Of course, you can edit that. I always leave it yes, and then if it's something that I don't want the date on, I can delete it as when I edit the post. Of course, I am the author. Here is your saving grace button right here. The reset button should be the first thing that you do to reset the roundup, to clear the plugin's memory if you should have any issues. Sometimes if you have a lot of feeds, the memory can get clogged and bogged down. Things may not pull, or some things may get confused. Come here, click reset, and save. But one warning that I have for you is that and it warns you here, it will re-pull what you have previously pulled. If you have feeds ready and set up, it's going to pull them again if you reset it. So I would go into your management screen, your manage roundup screen, scroll down to the bottom, edit all of your feeds and set them to draft if you have any that are set to automatically publish. That way it won't spit everything out into one big huge mess directly to your blog if you do have to reset. Next is your post width. This is something that I actually delete. I don't need it for my particular blog theme and my layout. It's not necessary. If you do have constraints that you have to stay in and you want to be sure that your plugin stays within those, definitely enter a width there. So we have this the way we want it, and we are going to save. The next thing we're going to do is go and manage our roundups. This is the screen where you will manage your roundups, manage the versions of roundups, variations of roundups. This is where the fun really happens. This is where it gets exciting, and this is where you can set up posts that your readers are going to love, that you can monetize, that's going to give you easy content and bring you traffic. So the first thing you want to do is title your roundup. This is for you only, for your eyes only. This is where you put whatever it is that you need to know what feed you're looking at. So I'm going to do recipe roundup. I'm not going to have more than one at this point. If you do memes, if you have like a Meatless Monday or a Tasty Tuesday or anything like that, you can do roundups for each one of those. You can set roundups for different days of the week, for different times of day, monthly, weekly, bi-weekly, a few times a day, however you want to do it. I am the author. We are enabling the feed, and I always leave this set to enabled, and I will show you why in a moment. What you want to do here is your next roundup post generate date. Be sure you set this either to now. Here you have the now option, which is what I'm going to click, and you'll see that it set it to February 14th, 2013, 11:27 p.m. That's the when it will generate the roundup from. Or you can set it into the future. Do not set it back, because it's going to pull duplicate posts for you. If you have another feed set up, you're going to get duplicate posts. So always set for now or set it for into the future. You have convenient sliders here where you can change your hour and you can change your minute. Put this right back where it was, and then click Done. Your recurrence time, here is where you see that you're really not under any sort of limitation. From every 15 minutes all the way up to every 30 days. This is going to be a weekly recurrence for us, so we're going to go to 1 week recurrence time. And your post title is where you will enter the actual title of the post on your blog. And this is going to be, our weekly recipe roundup. Here's where you enter the tags that you want for your post. We're going to do recipes, roundup, and recipe roundup. I'm going to set this to draft. I set everything to draft because I like to go in after it's drafted and optimize it for SEO purposes. If you're not concerned about that, if you're doing deal posts, if you're doing coupon posts and your posts are short and sweet, you're not that worried about the content of those particular roundups, go ahead and set it to publish. Once you have all your settings right, it'll automatically spit it out onto your blog, and you don't even have to worry about it. It's automatic content. Next, you're going to choose your categories. Of course, for mine, this is going to go under recipes. And keep in mind that your tags and your categories is not where it's pulling from, but where it's posting to. Your next options are your banner HTML code, your post content or HTML, and the bottom banner HTML. The top and bottom banner HTML are great for a number of things. If you have a graphic for your roundups, put it at the top of your post. You'll see again that this is exactly like your editor for WordPress. It's the same editor, works exactly the same. There's no learning curve. Add or upload media, put a graphic here. I would suggest it. I don't have one yet, but I'm going to make one, and once you put it in here and attach it to the feed, it's there for good. Your bottom banner HTML is where, especially if you're doing deal posts, Amazon posts, or coupon posts, or roundups of sponsored posts or anything like that, is where you should always put your disclaimer. You could also throw in some HTML for AdSense or something like that to monetize your roundup posts and make you a little extra cash. And your post content HTML editor is the actual meat and body of your post. There are one of two things, or both, that you're going to want to put here, and it explains these just under the editor. If you don't want to have a featured image in your posts, or if you don't want to have images next to each link in your post, do not use the image HTML option here. Your title is going to put the title of your post as a link. I would recommend always using that. It's just easy, especially if you've optimized your titles for a SEO, then it's going to automatically take care of that for you. We are actually going to use both of these, and if you have anything else, if you have like a little welcome blurb or paragraph that you like to put in here, something like that for your roundups, go ahead and put that in here. It's just going to save you time in the long run. And then we're going to store this roundup. You will see everything you do, you get a confirmation up here at the top of the page. If something is successful, it's green. If it's not, it's going to be in red at the top of the screen. Anything important here, anything really important is always noted for you. So we'll scroll down at the bottom, confirm that our recipe roundup is there, that it's enabled, that we've set it to draft. We can always go back in and edit it, or you can remove feeds here. Your generate manually button is handy if you want to generate a roundup in between your scheduled recurrence time. For my recipe roundup, if I add a bunch of really awesome recipes in between times and I want to go ahead and put another roundup together, I can just generate manually and it's going to take care of that for me. So what happens next? You're going to go to your posts, and you will see that your Roundup is there. We will go in and edit, pull up the post, and see that everything that we've posted from the date that we listed all the way up until the most recent post is included. Now you will see the ones that have a featured image. It is pulled out for us and put it in a 100 by 100 image. So let's go through and see what we want to take out and what we want to leave. So I'm going to scroll down through here a little ways because I didn't do recipes at the beginning of my blog. And having the images helps with this also, because you can see at a glance, if you have featured images, you can see what post is what. And looks like I've missed a recipe somewhere, I think. Yeah, it's there. For some reason it didn't pull the featured image, but that is probably, I may not have had it set, but that's fine. Now I'm going to highlight everything before that recipe. I'm going to hit delete, and then I'm going to go down and find the next recipe. I actually think I only have 2 at this point, so this is going to be really easy and great for just showing you how this works. There's my second one, my homemade chili macaroni. So we're going to highlight everything before that, right up to my jalapeno poppers recipe, delete it, and I know that there's no other recipe after that, so I can delete everything after that. And here we're left with exactly what we want for the post. And the link is underneath it. I'm actually going to put that in bold. And you'll see this, it automatically pulls a 100 by 100 thumbnail. I'm going to go in here, and I'm actually going to edit that and make it bigger. Whoop, that's too big. And you can play around with this just a little bit to make them match. You can also edit this in your HTML. You'll see you've got your width and your height here. So if that's here, I'm going to see if we do this like this. And yeah, there we go. I'm going to move my link to the bottom, put it in bold, and that's that. This post is ready to go. Now, what you may want to do is make your images linked to the same post, or not. Have your images linked to recipes if you want to. I'm going to go ahead and click Save Draft. I'm going to view it and see what it looks like in real time. You can go in and edit every single Roundup post that you do if you have them set to draft. If you have them set to post manually, you may have to go in and edit afterwards. Just be careful that you don't edit your permalinks, because you don't want to cause a 404 error. So again, everything is here handy dandy for you from your dashboard. If you need help, you have your help desk option directly from the Roundup plugin. You have the email here as well. Again, my name is Crystal. I blog at colormecrystal.com, and I'm so glad that you joined us today and that you've checked out the Shoppers Hall Roundup plugin.